Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. If you guys could, please subscribe. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you guys. OTAs. Dolphins OTAs going on. People addressing the media today. As today the story was, today we take you to Dolphins Tua Watch 2024. Tua skipped town to go play golf with Nick Saban. Yeah, who cares? It's a May practice. He showed up yesterday. He didn't show up today. He had an excused absence. So I guess we gotta hose him down because he doesn't care about football like that. I will say, Tua Watch has been is going to get monotonous, and it is going to anger me, especially when I hear things like Chris Sims saying that he's not in the class of Jared Goff. Not only is Tua not in the class of the top 5 quarterbacks or 10 quarterbacks, now I have to deal with he's not in the class of Jared Goff. My God. And his big argument was, he's standing in there and in the elements. I'm like, he plays indoors? And then, I looked at his last month, and the one game that he played outdoors, he too stunk. It's harder. Whatever, dude. Actually, I got to say, the only thing to a contract related today that was of any interest was from the snowman, Jevon Holland, who, this guy is an honest gem. He really is. He too is going into a contract year because he's a second-round pick, so this is the final year in his deal. No fifth-year option for a second-round pick. And he said today, man, if Tua ain't getting it done, I'm on the back burner. I don't know much. I just work here, which is really funny. It's one of these things where, hey, I understand that if the quarterback contract that is looming here doesn't get done or isn't in the midst of getting done or they're not close, I'm probably not going to get done at this moment, which is pretty funny from Jevon Holland. But definitely, they got to find a way to keep him happy and satisfied. The guy has been absolutely tremendous since he walked into camp as a rookie. Can seemingly do it all and seems to really I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know if he really, really likes the new defensive coordinator, Anthony Weaver, but I am very positive this man continues to reveal and stack on that he hated Vic Fangio's guts. This man who after Vic Fangio was rats off a ship, one and done, Jevon Holland gets on television and gets on his Instagram and kicks rocks, literally takes rocks and kicks them down the street, which is hilarious. But then today, he was talking about Anthony Weaver, and he was saying, Coach Weaver is a super dope person. As an ex-player, as a coach, you just feel like he understands where we're coming from, wants to hear us, hear our input on the defense, and is able to put that into how the defense is called and how the defense is taught. He's great. He's a really solid dude. So when a reporter asks a follow-up and was asked, do you think it's the fact that he's been in your shoes that makes a difference? And he says, I just think that it's the fact that he's a good person that makes the difference. Whew. Jesus. Look, quite obvious. This man was not, this old timer was not well liked. That is very, very clear. Kick rocks. We saw the Collins from Jalen Ramsey back in the day. Thrilled that Vic Fangio was gone. Also, said he'd never forgive him for when Xavier Howard's career came to an end. He said he'd never forgive Vic Fangio for the way they utilized them. And yeah, I guess this just adds more to it. I just think it's hilarious. It's just how, if Jevon Holland could make this any more clear how much he dislikes this person. He's like, if I could just be clear. No, it's the fact that he's a good person. Saying that one thing to say a guy's a bad coach, but to also say on top of it is a bad person. I get it. You look, the Dolphin fan who was pleased. Look, Vic Fangio was blunt for sure. I don't think anybody came out of last year blaming the defense. I think especially with the hand that the defense was dealt, the defense did a pretty damn good job. Part of that also was, I'm sure, a frustrating year for Jevon Holland, knowing how he was dealing with the serious and significance of his double knee injury that he had to deal with. So I'm sure it wasn't a year where it was bright for the Snowman at all. But man, just to put it out there like that, like, oh no, do you think it's a former player? I think, nah, I think he's a good person. I think that's really what it is. Whew, a complete 180. A complete 180 is how he puts it. So, a wild haymaker from Jevon Holland, to put it lightly, and it's going to be interesting to see. I was reading in Omar's column. He said that Jalen Phillips is still walking with a pretty noticeable limp. We don't know how long it's going to be on that recovery, that path of recovery for JP and Bradley Chubb. But, that's going to be the big challenge, is you got to figure out a way to at least, it feels like, for this defense, man the fort for the first half of this season. To be fair, while I know everybody looks at the end of the Dolphins schedule and is like, it doesn't feel on paper like you're set up for success. And part of the Dolphins test and show me mode is going to be, how do they change that? How do they get past that? But the benefit of it is look, it does feel very much like the schedule, I guess, outside of the Bills game is manageable for the Dolphins. I know some people, who think, hey, they could get through that first 10 games, 11 games, and only have a couple losses. Because really, up until you get to Thanksgiving, you're not talking about the creme de la creme. You're not. You're talking about teams that, if you were to go just based on last year, yeah, the Dolphins will be favored in the vast majority of those games if they do what we think they're capable of doing. The thing with the Dolphins is none of it's really going to matter other than just getting their record right, but none of it is going to be the Dolphins aren't going to be able to prove anything to anybody, I think, until they get to that tail end. But the benefit, as I was trying to get this in a very long-winded way, is, all right, if you do have to go this first half of the season and try and weave in, no pun intended, the new defensive tackles that you got, and you got to go real young with your pass rush with the side of Shaq Barrett, at least it feels like, all right, by the time this is all formulated, maybe this is a Dolphins team where the offense really can carry them in the first half of the season, and then everything will be set by the time they get to the middle when they are getting the reinforcements of Bradley Chubb and from Jalen Phillips. I don't know what's fair to expect out of those guys. Science does, amazing things. We've seen guys make freak recoveries from Achilles, from ACL before, but you also can't count on that. You don't know for sure. So it is a little bit of a benefit that the Dolphins, I guess, on paper, you could look at their schedule and be like, okay, it seems more manageable than the gauntlet they're going to go through at the end of the year. But time will tell. Time's going to tell on that one. But man, reading that from Jevon Holland was spicy, dude. Jordan Poyer was talking to the media a little bit today too, as he is now in the fold with the Miami Dolphins. And that's, I will say, so much made about Tua being at OTAs and whatnot, but the offense or the defense does feel like, especially in that secondary, the communication with those two safeties being there, it does feel like a good thing that they're getting to know one another. I don't know if Jalen Ramsey was there. I did see him on Instagram the night before, and he did pin tag, I guess, himself that he was in Tennessee. He doesn't need OTAs. Apparently, Zach Sealer wasn't there either today. I mean, he's a grizzly bear. What is he going to do? Nobody can really touch each other. I don't feel like Zach Sealer needs this anymore either. So, but Jordan Brooks had an interesting point where he was like, I feel it, he said to the media today about OTAs being voluntary, and he said that he felt like it was mandatory for him.
For me, it's like I got to get to know the guys that I'm playing with, get to know the system, and let them get to know me. And so it was important that I be here. It was mandatory for me, so I'm glad I came. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, so he is in a big spot where he's coming into a new team, big leadership spot. You have David Long yesterday getting the orange jersey, linebacker core trying to get it done. Anthony Walker today had a pick in practice, even though no Tua again. Mike White was out there doing his thing, but you got a new linebacker core. No Jerome Baker for the first time in a long time. There are a lot of new faces and a new system to get to know. The offense, it's like, yeah, I get it. Everybody wants Tua out there, and I do think that he's going to have the dose of being out there that he needs to be out there. Poor timing for Nick Saban to want to do good, The one time Nick Saban wants to do good, it's right in the middle of Dolphins OTAs. Snowman, though, said, this is when asked why he came to OTAs in the midst of the contract talks.
I'm playing football, and I love ball. Not to say that guys don't show up, don't love ball, but it's just, different strokes for different folks. This is just my process, and, I'm going to play regardless, whether I'm on this team, not on this team. I'm going to just play. So I'm going to make sure that I'm prepared the utmost so that when the opportunity does come, I'm going to be ready to go out there and ball.
Headline. Jevon Holland says, I love ball more than those who are not here. Nah, just messing with you. He's already, listen, he is not a guy to mince words. He very clearly will tell you if he is bothered by something, right? If he's bothered by Vic Fangio, if he thinks what a teammate did on Twitter is lame, if he thinks the question is stupid, Jevon Holland's going to let it know. But, this is an interesting time to get the bob and weave defense all together.